world champion, probably on the greatest team ever, Dennis Rodman. Welcome. Hi, Dennis. Come out. Dennis, first of all, hello.
How you doing?
I love your T-shirt. My guy growing up.
Back in the day, right?
But you're always going old school. Like the last time you were wearing a Phil Jackson New York Knicks jersey.
Absolutely.
You're a little old school in you. You have a little old school in you.
Well, you know, people these days, kind of give me Phil a little flack, so you got to represent Phil.
Well, here we are. Are you a baseball fan, a Yankee fan? Are you feeling this new vibe that's going on here in the Bronx?
Well, the last baseball game I ever went to was 1986.
And what game was that?
I was in Detroit. Right. That's when I got drafted with the Pistons. So I went there. They invited us to the game. I sat there in the front row behind the screen. And the fifth inning, I fell asleep. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a baseball fan, but I know Derek Jeter, A-Rod, and all those guys. So they live in Jupiter, out there in Florida.
So you get to hang with some of the big boys. I got to get right to the core of the matter because I'm kind of thinking, how is this Yankee team and how great are they? And so explain to me why. Maybe the common denominator between the Piston great team and the Bulls great team, were there common denominators that equal championship? Like, what are the things that made those teams so great?
When I was in Detroit, I think that the Tigers was kind of big then. But I think when I went to Chicago, the Yankee was like the shit. They was balling, man. I mean, I think that they had a great dynasty in the 90s.
I was talking more about the Bulls, but
okay. I thought you talked to the Yankees.
But the Yankees were hot. I mean, there's no question they dominated. I'm surprised a guy like you didn't make your way over to Wrigley. I mean, just for the aesthetics of it. But, well, let's talk about the Bulls real quickly, just because. What was Jordan like? I mean, what was it like to play with him, and did he make you better? Did you play your best ball in Chicago or Detroit?
Chicago. Well, Detroit. It was more like they made me as a player, basketball player. And when I left Detroit, went to San Antonio, they didn't like me there, so I went to Chicago. So, I didn't. In San Antonio, they said, well, you have to go to church and be like David Robinson. I was like, okay, all right. So I go dye my hair, wear women's clothes and stuff like that. So they didn't like that either. So it's like, okay, great. So I went to Chicago, and things started to turn around for me.
You're the guy I want to play. I want you on my team. Well, I like to shoot, and you get the rebounds. And how did you become such a great rebounder, and how did this happen?
Well, it didn't happen overnight. I just dedicated myself to just do one thing, to play defense and rebound. I just looked at the team we had in Detroit. We got Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Vinnie Johnson. So basically, I don't need to be a scorer. So I just changed my game totally around. I said, okay, great. Let me go do the dirty work. And I just started rebounding, started playing defense. And I played all the toughest guys in the league for like 7 years for Detroit. Go to San Antonio, play all the toughest guys in the West, win 2 rebound championship there. That's 2 divisions. Then go back to Chicago, win 3 rebound titles and 3 championships. Who even knew that was going to happen?
Chuck Daly, Phil Jackson, 2 phenomenal Hall of Fame coaches. A difference between the 2 of them?
Well, Chuck Daly is more like a father, more like a father figure, because when I came in, I was 25 years old. I was so green behind the ears. I'm living in Oklahoma, and it was like population 716 people. So seriously, it's a true story. And living on a farm, plowing, castrating calves, doing all this stuff like that. So, a black guy from the ghetto coming to learn stuff like that. But it was a great experience for me because it made me feel like that, I had a royal family now. And it made me work hard because living on a farm, we had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning till like 6, 7 at night. So I got that whole work mentality by living on a farm.
Was Chuck Daly somebody that took a real strong interest in you early on? I mean, is that what kind of even elevated you even more to be the player you were?
No, I just think that he let me just be a man more than anything, because when you're around men, and especially in basketball, it elevates your whole lifestyle, and you have to look at people as an example and stuff like that. So I looked at those guys like, wow, these guys have actually been in the league for a long time, so I just wanted to be just like them. So the more I listened and learned, the more I became, this great player.
I've talked with you many times, about parenting, winning, rebounding, the dresses. But behind all that stuff, like, who are you, though? I mean, who are you more as the person? What is the real Dennis Rodman? What is it? I was thinking this morning, Mike, you're an interesting cat, man. You've done some phenomenal things, really, when you think about it, really. But who are you, though, behind all that? Then share that with us.
I don't know. I guess I'm the guy supposed to save the world. So you don't know a Korean thing, I guess I'm that guy now, right? I just, it's very difficult now because, I used to be a follower when I came to the league. I didn't know what direction I was going. I just wanted to play basketball. And I think that field took a liking for me because of that, because I wanted to play so bad. And every day, it's like 3 times a day I'd be in the gym working on stuff like that. So my whole life changed when I went to San Antonio. And it was just really a life-changing experience.
Tell me about it. What happened?
Nothing really. I'm still alive. So, still alive. So it's one of those things where it's a transition where when your team is getting separated from the organization, with people going from different teams, stuff like that, and you thought you had a family, and the next thing you know, you're just more like by yourself. So basically, I just thought I didn't give I didn't care.
Did the moving from Detroit hurt you? Because you guys were very tight. You guys were like family. When that breakup happened, was that hurtful to you? I mean, emotionally, or?
It was very hurtful because I thought that we was going to be there forever. And when Chuck Daly left, I guess John Sally left. Everybody started to leave. Rick Bowen left. Then I just said, well, I'm not going to play here anymore. So I left. I locked myself in my house for like 45 days. They thought I was dead in my house.
What did you do for 45 days?
Nothing. I just stayed in my house, went to the gym. That was it.
So you were in pain. It was
just more like, I'm just like, wow, I should retire. I just go back to Dallas or something like that, and start over.
So would you say, just signing back over, because you mentioned something about working out 3 times a day. Do you think part of your greatness was that you were so resilient and so relentless about getting in shape and just lived and died, completely consumed, committed towards your profession? Is that kind of what happened that made you into that player?
No, not really. If people always say, how did you stay in shape, so much? I used to stay in the gym like two times a day. Like doing practice, doing in the mornings, and it's going to trip you guys out. But like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning after drinking, I would go to the gym and start working out again.
That's pretty relentless. That's
really relentless. Seriously, that's really relentless. Coming from a bar, then go to the gym and just start just working out.
Michael Jordan. What was it like playing with him? Talk to me about what that day-to-day experience and was he everything that we think he was to play with? Did he expect perfection every night?
Well, I think he knew the team that he had. I think the missing piece was me, and I think the fact that he didn't want. I told Phil Jackson we need a rebound, and Phil Jackson came and got me and said, Dennis, do you want to play for me? And I said, I don't give a damn. And so this is at Jerry Cross's house. Mike was there, Scotty was there, Phil was there, and so he asked Mike and Scotty, "We want Dennis on the team?" And said, "Yeah, we want him. We'll take him." So Phil came to me and said, "Hey, Dennis, Mike and Scotty still approved that they want you on the team." And Phil said, "I want you to do one thing first." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Why don't you go over there and apologize to Scotty?" I said, "For what?" He said, what happened in 1991, he still haven't got over that. So I said, "I want to apologize." He said, "Okay, great." We said, "Let's go play basketball."
Wow, just like that. I like Phil Jackson. I'm a fan, but what are we missing here in New York with Phil? I mean, what is it not New York understanding about the way Phil's mindset works? Can you help us here a little bit?
Everyone know Dolan, right? Everybody know Dolan? He can be a little pain sometimes, right? He can be a little difficult sometimes. But I don't know. Dolan must have saw something in Phil that he probably thought he could change the organization. And Phil is a very smart guy. He's a very smart guy. I think that people say that Phil's probably over the hill now. He's probably trying to bring the Chicago system to New York and try to make people do the triangle and stuff like that. It worked for us because we knew that we understood the fact that who's going to touch the ball, who's going to shoot the ball. But in New York, the mentality in New York is totally different. They love to win in New York. And if you don't win in New York, that means that you're no good here. And I guess that Phil hasn't really came a grasp to that yet. That they want to win here, but they want a different system.
Who's winning? First of all, was your Bulls team the greatest team ever? And how would you stack up if you had to go play Golden State today?
Well, people don't realize that Golden State back in the probably the mid '80s and early '90s, they was way better then. They was good then. It's the fact that they was caught up in that whole run and shoot game back in the '80s. They was on 10, 15 points then. Up, running down, up and down, up and down. It's the same thing what they're doing today, but it's a new generation though. So, and plus back then, when you go to the basket, you're gonna get hit. Now you can't even do anything. I mean, you can't even touch anybody. So
You'd be put in jail for on the Pistons.
Pretty much, right?
But who would win that game? I mean, who would you want? First of all, who'd you want to guard? You got Durant locked down, or?
Well, you know what? She said no. No. But you know what? You probably have three of probably the all-time best defensive player on one team, me and Michael Scotty. So we didn't care who we guarded because we was all the same size. I think Scotty people would like Durant down. Michael would lock whoever else down. I would lock whoever else down. It doesn't matter, because we play defense. These guys today don't play defense.
You guys took a lot of pride in defense. I didn't realize the Bulls with that. I mean, I know Michael played a lot of defense, but you felt that as a team you were committed to defense.
Pretty much, because any given night, Michael Jordan's gonna score 35 points every night. Every night, Scotty gonna get his 20 and 9, 8. Michael gonna get his 35, 8 and 7. I'm gonna get my 22, 23 rebounds, 5 points. I'm gonna get that every night. So that was a given. that was just a given every night. So. Wow.
So you're saying you're playing Golden State, you're guarding Curry. It doesn't even matter who you're guarding.
It really don't matter. I mean,
Green, Durant.
See those guys.
I'd love to see you against Draymond Green. No, that's matchup.
I guard tougher guys than Draymond. He loves to talk. He loves to talk and stuff. Like he loves to talk though. He wants to be this focal point of the team. He wants to be the leader of the communication system and stuff like that. So, and most other guys don't want to talk. He wants to talk. If I played against Draymond, it don't really matter because I play against guys that's 250, 6'10", mobile. I mean, Karl Malone was 6'10". That guy can run and dunk and shoot. And I mean, plays, and he was tough. I mean, so Draymond would be too easy for me to guard.
All right, we'll do a cute little Q&A. Just one thing. Give me your starting five. Give me your five guys. I'm putting you moving away from you. You'd be the four if I had my team. But give me your five guys you'd pick if you were picking a team. Current, former, it doesn't matter. Who's your five guys?
Point guard. You were someone with the point guard?
Yeah.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Start with your point guard. I'm not available, so I'm out.
Well, for his toughness, it could score. I say Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. And the team's got to fit together, so you.
They fit together. I'll say Michael, Scotty, James Worthy, and Dennis.
All right, there you have it. Wow. All right, we're gonna do some Q&A.
It's a pleasure, man, to be here. First of all, I just want to know if is there any superstar in today's game that you feel have a game that's comparable to yours?
Not really, because if you look at the guy on the Clippers, what's his name, Jordan or something? But he's like 7 foot, right? 7 foot, can't shoot, just like me. Shoot, no free throws, stuff like that. But But I don't see anyone really committed to rebounding today. Not too many people. I mean, it's more like a run and shoot game. Come up to 3-point line, shoot, stuff like that. So not too many people. Not probably none.
Hey, Dennis, over here from South Africa. Just want to ask you, what was it like being in North Korea with the great Kim Jong-un?
That's that, right?
I had to. I'm sorry. It's so interesting.
It's all good.
All good?
No, it's all good. I mean, people want to take a lot of things that I say or I've done very out of context, which is very harmless. And my main goal was to go over to open doors as far as sports. That was the whole thing. It wasn't about,
You didn't have any agenda.
I didn't know agenda. I just wanted to go open doors for sports, and what people don't realize the fact that I actually did open the doors for sports. And so basically, you got when I brought the team over there, it was like 50 people went with me over that. 50 people, and then when we played the game, and people didn't really see this stuff right here. When we went inside the arena, it was like 20,000 people. And it was so funny. It was so funny. I told these guys to be prepared for this, man. You ain't never seen nothing like this in your life. So as the marshal came out, he stood up there, and as the American team came out, they stood up and clapped for the American team for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes, and people didn't see that. Then next thing you know, as we start playing the North Koreans, we start to score, and the people start to clap for the Americans. And people didn't see that. And then when the game was over, all the guys are crying. They're doing all this stuff, crying, stuff like that. I'm walking in like, what you guys crying for? It's like, because they thought they were so scared because what's going to happen, when they go home and stuff like that. But when he walked in, you never seen so many people that had smiles on their face. They want to take a picture with him. They want a picture. First, they want a picture with him. They all got smiles, hugging him and stuff like that. And he said to the players, he said, you know what, I'm so happy you guys came over. Thank you. Then no one said that. They want to come back with all that negativity shit. Stuff like that. So you know what? He loves basketball and stuff like that. I said, you know what? He has done anything to me. What's going on in the world? I don't know anything about that. That's not my job. That's between the president and whoever else to deal with that. But he does give me the ability to go back over that year after year to play basketball. So I think I did open a door just a tad bit. Just a tad bit.
You think in peace and love and basketball.
That's pretty much what it is.
Who was your favorite team and player growing up? Me. Who was your favorite team and player growing up?
I didn't have a team or a player. The favorite team was the Cowboys. I'm sorry, I live in Dallas. So
My favorite team's the Cowboys too.
the Cowboys, right? So that's my favorite team. So.
Were you a big sports fan growing up? I mean, did you live or die with sports as a kid, or you really kind of became later on?
Well, I wasn't a big sports fan because I was so busy trying to stay out of jail. So just so busy trying to stay out of jail. So living in an environment. So but I started getting into basketball probably in the late '70s.
Is that the only sport?
Only sport. This one over here.
I'm just curious, how old were you when you first started?
I was 22.
Were you?
22 years old.
Let me touch on another subject that's, and I don't know about you. I watched some of these 30 for 30s, and I'm scratching my head wondering where I was when all this was going on, because I thought I was kind of watching this stuff, and then you realize so much stuff happens, the game behind the game. At the end of the series, where you don't shake the Bulls' hands, you leave the court and all that. Was that like, do you regret that now? Like, is that like, or do you guys just a bunch of badasses, and that's it?
But it's, that whole thing right there started with the commissioner here in New York. In 1988, when we started to really come up, in the league, we started to become the Raider
Yes.
in basketball. And more and more we started to be more like the physical team in the NBA. The NBA commissioner, David Stern, right? His name David Stern?
Yeah, David Stern.
David Stern started to call us, the bad boys. And every time we played, oh, there come the bad boys, here come the bad boys, and stuff like that. It just caught on. And then once we established that, then all of a sudden we became this really great team. And the Oakland Raiders, the whole team came to saw us in Detroit. And gave us all Raider jackets, hats, and everything like that. Al Davis came and stuff like that. And we was like, okay, great. I guess we are the Raiders of the basketball.
Well, you guys were kind of bad. I mean, Bill Laimbeer was a tough player. He some nasty picks.
Right. That was a part of the game back then, because if you had that structure of the game today, but it was under control, the game would be a lot better. It'd be so much fun to watch because it's very competitive now. When you see people attacking people now, it's like a 2-game suspension. Back then, it's more like you get hit in the face, whatever, shoot a free throw. Shoot a free throw. It was controlled then. It was controlled then. Once like people running into the stands or people doing this and stuff like that now. But it's more like, you can be physical today, but you can control it. So the game would be a lot better.
What's next for you? Like, what are you up to these days? Like, what's the next thing for you? And give me a little typical day. What's going on with Dennis Rodman? Like,
people think I'm dead. Seriously, people think I'm dead. When I go, I say, "Oh my God, there he is." I ain't gone nowhere. So, but I living in Hawaii and Miami and LA, just chilling, hanging with my kids and stuff like that. So, watching my kids grow up now.
How many kids? All right, let's move to another question.
I got 4 kids.
4 kids, and you kid around them. You're a pretty serious parent, though. We've talked about this a little bit. I mean, you're more serious a parent than you are, when it seems to me. No.
Well, I get emotional when I talk with my kids because I don't really be with my kids that much, or not much of a dad, if you want to call it like that. Because never, in my life, a lot of people probably can contest to this. I didn't have a dad, so. Like most guys, never had a dad, so I think that's probably why Mother's Day is so important to people, because mothers are always there, stuff like that. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be great if they did just half of what they do for Mother's Day for Father's Day? Would they be happy? Maybe just get these so-called dads to come out the woodworks and love the kids, right?
That's a good point.
Right.
So, are you still involved as a dad, though?
Absolutely. Now these days I am. So my son's like 6'8", and he's going around the world right now playing on these teams around the world. So my daughter's 14. She's on the U.S. national team now, and she's in Belgium right now playing soccer. So
they're athletes. Yeah. Is there something next for you? Before we read about it in the newspapers, are we going to see something next?
For me, I got to do some really, really big stuff for people to actually say, wow, he's back. I've done everything in the world. I've done everything, I've dated girls. No guys. No guys. No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. The gay thing is a cool thing now, okay? So if it's cool, that'll be gay. So it's all good. No, I've done everything in the book, man.
What's your favorite thing besides basketball that you've done? You're like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
I say, wow, I've never done it. Wow. I say the North Korean thing. Because, I didn't expect to be so famous and so hated in the same month. So, seriously. That's right there. It was like, wow. I come back, you got 3,000 reporters all around the world at Beijing airport, right? And you're trying to get through, and you can't get through. They won't let you get to your car or your hotel. And then when you come back, they want to sit there and cuss you out and throw shit at you and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, great. 3 years later, and this is, I guess you guys know that 3 years later, you see on TV, everybody in Congress, governors, presidents around the country, they're saying, you know what, it'd be a great idea we send Dennis back over to North Korea.
I'm afraid to ask you this, but did you vote? Were you a Trump supporter, or are you cool with this government the way it is, or are you not really? You're not even paying attention.
Trump is something else, man. Trump's something else, man. That guy says anything, does he? You know, sometimes you act like Trump don't know what the hell he's doing, right? You know, because he's like, okay, great. You know, I'm just going to say what's on my mind. And then when he made that comment about saying, you know what, I can't go back to Trump Plaza because it's too expensive. You guys hear that? Because it's cost like $300,000 every time he goes down there. He says, so that's why he goes back to Florida to go play golf all the goddamn time. You know, the next thing you know, goes to the White House to do photo ops. So that's all, you know, but he's a great guy to me. He gave me a lot of opportunities.
Are you thinking about something, you know, your next impact on the charity end of things? Because you always have an impact with kids, being where you come from and everything. Are you working on anything on that end?
Well, I do a lot of charity work. I do a lot of homeless stuff like that because I was homeless for like 2.5 years, living in the street every day. You know, so
When was that?
I was 20 years old. You know, 20 years old. So I was homeless. You know, and every time you see a homeless person, especially in New York, L.A., Miami, and Portland, and places like that, you see them just all over the place. But it's very hard not to just, you know, try to do something, but you can't do it for everybody. It's just very difficult. So.
One last thing here. Does it surprise you that more teams don't hire you on the rebounding thing? I was thinking you know, I mean, you being you're one of the greatest rebounders of all time. Like, how would you not bring in Dennis Rodman just to work with the guys on rebounding?
Well, people don't want to do anything. Want to have nothing to do with me at all. Guess it's forced. You know, I don't know why, but I guess I never was intrigued to do stuff. I wanted to leave basketball and try something different. You know, a lot of people here in New York used to hate A-Rod. And look at A-Rod. He's coaching now. He's buying a baseball team. He's welcome to come back here now. You know, the best medicine to win people back over, especially in America, to have a real good second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance, win. Just win. And then one thing, because we're the most forgiving people on the planet, Americans. We're the most forgiving people on this damn planet. So.
Are you having fun? I'm going to close on this note. Are you having fun? Am I reading you right? You seem like you're pretty even these days. Are you good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's all good. I work out every day. You work out?
Every day.
Do you?
Every day.
Do you? Yeah.
In fact, tomorrow morning we got a game at 9. You know, we could count you in if you want to just run with us. I need somebody to rebound for me.
He's playing tomorrow. I got to go back to L.A. tomorrow.
All right, maybe next time you're in town, we can get you in for. I'd love to have you on my court.
I'm always at the JCC when I'm up there in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm in Scarsdale. I could get you into my court though.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had some. Yeah, I usually what I do is I bet people and then I show up with you.
Right.
Get your 5, you know. And
then, right.
But
it's gonna be a great day Sunday, for Derek Jeter,
What's your thought on Derek Jeter? And listen, honestly, I mean, you know, forgetting all these people here watching, give me your honest feeling when you see a Derek Jeter. How does that resonate with you? When you watch a player like this, now the way he's getting honored.
It's cool, man. I mean, the fact that Derek Jeter was like Michael Jordan in baseball. That's how big he was. But he was more so solid about his game. I mean, every day he came to play every day. I mean, every day. You could count on him all the time, just like Michael Jordan. You could count on. I think Michael Jordan missed maybe 10 games his whole career. 10 games. Because he had an injury with his ankle. 10 games.
He loved playing.
And Derek Jeter played. I mean, Derek Jeter played every day, every night.
You would have liked to play with Derek if you were playing baseball.
Oh, yeah. Michael Jordan said the same thing about me. He said, if I had to pick anyone that I'm going to build a team with, it'd be Dennis Rodman. And Phil Jackson said at his alma mater in Montana, he did a seminar in front of like 10,000 people. Someone asked him, who was the best basketball player you ever coached? He said, this going to surprise you guys. He said, Dennis Rodman.
Why?
I couldn't tell you that.
Were you that coachable though? When I think of you, I'm like, man, you got those rebounds, but you must have been a real pain in the butt in those huddles. But you know, you always seem very acclimated and animated. But were you a very coachable guy?
What's the difference between when I did it back then but I was winning at that same time, winning, doing movies, wrestling, and stuff like that. And what's the difference then, what they're doing today? It's a lot worse today. When I was doing it back then, it's a lot worse today what they're doing today. And so I don't know what's the difference.
Yeah. Phil Jackson, I'm going back to Phil on that. I'll get back to you on that. I got to ask Phil about that because I want to know why, the details of what made that. That's a big statement. He's coached some players.
There's a lot of players.
Yeah,
a lot of players.
Well, it's been a joy. We're going to do some photos. We got a great game tonight. Is there a last question?
Yeah.
All right, let's close on that note.
The guy's one of the greatest defensive players ever, and you can't always coach that.
You're right about that. I did that today with the Liberty today out there. They asked me about what was your desire to play defense and the way you did it for so many years. I was on the all-defensive team 10 times in a row, Michael 10 times, Scotty 10 times. And so you can't teach that. You can't teach that desire and that heart. You can't teach that. You just it has to come to you. You have to want it. And today when you see the Golden State Warriors, it's coming so easy for them. It's so easy. It means that they don't really play defense. It's just that system they're in. And just like the Cavaliers, same thing. They don't really play defense. It's their system they're in. They got LeBron James, so you can't teach defense like that.
Well, we got a great contest tonight with the Astros. That's going to be phenomenal. They're two good teams. And thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Good, baby.